Hello YouTube and welcome to another GV anime review, and this week I'm coming to you with my final review of the year, and the honor goes to another fall 2017 anime being Ballroom Youkoso, or Welcome to the Ballroom. Ballroom Youkoso was a highly anticipated anime from the summer 2017 season. After Attack on Titan Season 2 the season before, we would see if production IG still had some juice left. The main hero of Ballroom is Tatara Fujita. Tatara is a nobody. He has no self-esteem and basically no talent for anything. That is until one day he stumbles into a dance studio where he meets Sengoku Kaname, a flamboyant professional ballroom dancer. Tatara becomes captivated by Sengoku's personality, and after meeting Shizuku and Gyoharu, a prodigy dance couple, he decides to take up ballroom dancing himself. And through dancing, Tatara finally begins to discover the man who he wants to be. First of all, I want to praise the animation of Ballroom Youkoso. This anime was beautifully animated, as it could be expected from a renowned studio like Production IG. The animation really captured all the facets of ballroom dancing, from the grace and elegance to the power and intensity. This also resonated in the two opening songs, which were both very good. And yes, like some people pointed out, the necks were drawn really long, but it didn't bother me. I saw it more as an emphasis that was laid on one of the key aspects of ballroom dancing. And there are two episodes that I want to highlight, being first the flower and the frame at the end of part 1. The way how that was animated and colored to make Mako the flower bloom in the frame that was Tatara was amazing. That was one good episode. And secondly was the final dance in the final episode. The animation and the coloring made that episode explode of intensity. That was what I meant earlier, that Ballroom portrayed all the facets of ballroom dancing really well. If I have said it once, I have said it 1,000 times. Animes with new concepts will always get extra credit from me. Now at its core, Ballroom isn't a totally new type of anime. It's your typical sports anime, but it introduced us to a sport that very few of us are familiar with, being ballroom dancing. And like I mentioned in my previous point, through its animation and storytelling, Ballroom showed that excitement that comes with ballroom dancing and how fanatic those athletes are. And if a sports anime can get you excited and interested in a new sport, then it is doing something right. My third positive point has to be the female characters in Ballroom, because there was quite some waifu material. Shizuku, she was pure waifu material. She looked so pretty in all her different forms, with glasses, without, regular clothing or dancing dress. But even more than Shizuku was Mako, my favorite female of this series. She was so adorable in her yellow dress, and I was a bit sad when her arc with Tatara ended. But it was a superb arc, especially with the theme of the flower and the frame. Because Mako had to be replaced with a different partner, who was, as expected, the complete opposite. Chinatsu was your standard tsundere character. She could be very hard, but underneath that shell there was a very determined core. What I found especially positive here is that they didn't force a romance between Tatara and Chinatsu. That was a typical thing that they luckily didn't pull here, in contrary to the manga, where I do feel that they are steering towards that romance. Earlier I praised Ballroom for getting us excited in ballroom dancing, something that by my knowledge no other anime has touched. But this anime did use the standard development for the main character as almost any other sports anime. Tatara is a nobody who basically has no goal in his life until he discovers a sport where he then seemingly has talent for. I have seen that in Yowamushi Pedal, Nanamaru Sanbatsu and many others. It is such a standard thing to do. Also, how this season concludes in the final episode was so predictable. Why can't there be more animes like Shokugeki no Soma, which didn't use this stereotype at the end of season 2? And my final point of this review is that at the end of this season, we haven't really gotten to the main goal of this story. Almost the entire anime revolves around Tatara wanting to dance with or against Shizuku. That was the whole point of this anime, and we don't get to that. At least if you don't count the small after credits scene. Now, this opens up the possibility for a second season, and I would really like a second season of Ballroom Youkoso. It's probably going to take a while since the manga is running behind on the anime. In the latest chapter they are still in the middle of the tournament. But hopefully one day Production IG will make a second season of this anime. So as a conclusion, Ballroom Youkoso was a really entertaining anime. It was beautifully animated, which showcased all the facets of ballroom dancing. It was an anime that captivated me all 24 episodes, and it was simply one of the best animes of both summer and fall season. So I am happy that I can finish my last 2017 review on a high note. I am going to rate Ballroom Youkoso at 4.5 out of 5 stars, and it gets the stamp of GV's Anime of the Season Fall 2017. If you are a fan of the sports anime genre, then go watch Ballroom Youkoso. You will not be disappointed, and hopefully we get a second season one day. There are a lot of sports animes out there that I could recommend, since as I pointed out, they like to use the same concept. So I'm going to recommend 2 sports animes that I've already watched, which now that I think about it is not a lot. Either way, the first recommendation is Yowamushi Paddle. You should know by now that I love Yowamushi Paddle, and I can't wait for season 4 to be released in a couple of weeks. And the second recommendation is Nanamaru Sanbatsu. Again, it uses the same concept as Ballroom Youkoso. Final recommendation is last year's hit anime Yuri on Ice, which I still have to watch. It was the anime of the season for a lot of people, so it's probably good. And with that I conclude my final review of 2017 of Ballroom Youkoso. As usual, you can find the full list of all my animes and reviews over at Anime Planet. As usual, I will put a link in the description box down below. Now, if you want me to review a particular anime from this list, please put it in the comments. Also, if you have a recommendation for me, put it in the comments as well. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, visit me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to this channel for more reviews in the future. Then I will say arigatou gozaimasu, and I will see you all in the next video.